My name is Jonathan Gillum.
And this is The Experts. All right, folks, I don't know if we have sound or not, so stand by. Stand by 1 second. Hold on. I have no idea what's going on with the sound, so stand by. I think we have sound. We'll find out in just a second. All right, I think we got it now. Well, we got a good show today. But we got to get this whole sound situation fixed. Sometimes this side still got things going on here that I got to figure out. I'll tell you what we're going to talk about now in the warning order. All right. I got to get this logged in here and make sure that everybody can hear what I'm saying, because I'm extra paranoid after yesterday. Hold on 1 second. Stand by. Come on, here we go. Okay, let's see what we got. Hold on 1 second. Okay, we got sound. So what I'm going to do real quick before we even start the show is I'm going to, as you can see, I got my iPad here. I'm going to go down there and where it says share, I'm going to copy the link. And then I'm going to go over to my other pages that I have on here. And I'm going to share this 3 times if this iPad will let me share it. And if you're on Twitter, you can retweet the show that's on there. On YouTube, I don't know what you would do. I guess just watch. I don't really know. So sorry about the little technical difficulty there at the beginning. Again, I've got so much stuff going on here that I can't tell what's happening sometimes. What it was is I have a Bluetooth external speaker. When I'm writing, and we were talking about writing yesterday, when I'm writing, after I write something, I'm still sharing this, what I do is I listen to what I've written, and I use that Bluetooth speaker so I can, I don't have to sit here and be locked right down with a headset on, and the computer's not loud enough. So what I do is now I've got all 3 of those pages shared. What I do is I actually do what I used to do when I was in officer candidate school with my good buddy Butler, is I'll tend to walk around, or I don't want to keep my mind too occupied, but sometimes I just follow along with it on the computer. But it's good for me to hear what I've written, so that I can process that and see if not only if I have any grammatical errors, but if it just doesn't make sense in what I'm writing. All right, so I think I got everything. That was a little odd. I could not tell where the sound was coming from. It wasn't coming from my computer. It was coming from my big jam box down there. So let me go now to Twitter. This kind of threw everything out of loop here for a second. There it goes. Boom. We got it. All right, we're good to go. Let's see how many people we have on. I'm putting YouTube's chat right over here. And a couple people have told me about this different program that I can put all the chats on together. So I'm working on that, okay? Now, here's what we're going to talk about today. I don't even know how to say her name correctly. Linda Sauer. Sauer, I guess you say her name is. Anyway, she is a... don't kid yourself, folks, about this woman. She's dangerous. She is a Muslim jihadist that lives in America. And I've had a run-in with one of her cohorts before. You know, the girl that was, when I was set up for basically to be slammed by Lisa Evers and her show on Hot, whatever it is, 96 FM, whatever it is. So that was Tamika Mallory. Well, this woman is a cohort of hers, and they are dangerous people. They were some of the sponsors for the Women's March in Washington, D.C., where Madonna said that she thinks about blowing up the White House, and Ashley Judd was on there. I don't know what she was talking about, being a nasty woman, and she's definitely a stupid woman. I'll give her that. You know, listen, she shattered the glass ceiling of stupidity, that's for sure. So, and good on her. Let's give her a round of applause here for crushing the glass ceiling of stupidity. They really did a good job of that at that whole event that was going on, especially. So you had, I know I'm rehashing this whole thing, but you had Madonna talking about blowing up the White House. She should be investigated. These people should be charged for making these threats, because they have, and this is what I don't understand about the federal government anymore. They don't go after any of these people, and they don't charge them with anything. When, look, yeah, freedom of speech. We should not confuse freedom of speech with inciting violence and a riot, which we're going to talk about that here in just a minute as well, about some guy, and two people actually were making threats to congressmen today. So you can see what happens when these celebrities go out and say that they should bomb this, or this person should die, or whatever. They really should be charged with inciting violence and terroristic threats. I don't believe that is protected under the First Amendment. That's just me, but I look at things, and I've seen things occur in law enforcement that were a direct result of somebody else's big mouth and instigating people to do things. So yeah, I think they should be charged. I think Madonna was stupid. I think Ashley Judd was crushed stupidity. And those pink hats that some people still wear around. I mean, you just can't get any more stupid than that. I mean, that would be like us wearing, penis hats around. It would just be stupid. It doesn't say anything. That's one thing I never understood about these protesters. They never make themselves look smarter. They always look stupid. I mean, they could be a very intelligent person. They come out there, they dress like crap. Their signs look like they wrote it with their left hand, and if you're left-handed, your right hand, with a big, huge crayon or chalk. It's terrible. It looks stupid, and I mean, I don't know. It's not intimidating whatsoever. I don't know if their whole process is to intimidate people, but even when they're standing in the middle of the road, which I think they should be arrested for, they look like, oh, look at that. We got our first troll, old Mark Twang. All right, you're blocked. See you, buddy. So, I don't know where I was going with that. That guy made me lose it, but they just look stupid when they come out there. They dress like crap. Even the people, that was what it was. The people that are in the middle of the road, that are trying to block traffic. That doesn't look intimidating to me. It looks very stupid, actually. Several have been hit by cars, but anyway, and I think it was in Seattle Seattle or Berkeley or somewhere where that motorcycle rider went through. I don't know if he ran over anybody, but he went through the people that were laying on the ground because they were handicapped. Those people that, I don't care if you're handicapped, if you block a road, you should be put in jail. Make sure that they have a wheelchair ramp, so when they go out of the jail by themselves, they have a way to get down. I don't care. Doesn't matter to me. And I want to thank Ann Elizabeth for sending me this video today, because that's what we're going to start off covering. So anyway, this jihadist, and let's call her what she is. She's a jihadist. She is a terrorist. She backs people that use force and intimidation and violence for a political aim. She is a supporter of Sharia law, and she has latched the feminist right on board. It's so funny because you'll hear when she talks. She never says brothers and sisters. She says sisters and brothers. She's very particular about that. That Tamika Mallory girl that was, and I call these people girls. I call women women. I mean, Ann Elizabeth, that's a woman. Maureen is a woman. Eleanor is a woman. You all, the people that tune into this show, Remo, I'm just kidding, Remo. You thought I was going to say that. But you all are the real deal. You're mature women who see the world in a free-thinking way. You're not told how you have to think. You make legitimate choices on your own based on your maturity, really, and education, your knowledge, your understanding, and your experience. These people do not. It's all either emotional or it's just a lie. They're just lying because they have an agenda. So that's basically what you see with this Linda Sarsour person. And so it's interesting to me how easily snowed these feminists, these leftists, and I'm not just talking about liberals, but there are, listen, I'm not going to protect liberals completely. There are a lot of liberals that jump on board and that because it's against the conservatives, they just jump on board with that and they believe and go right along with whatever they say without checking it out. So it's very interesting the way that happens and the way that they do that, and they blind follow absolutely blindly. But it's a sickness that's going on, and a cancer that's going on people that are liberal. They really have to get on board. See, that's the thing. I rail against conservatives and free thinkers because they, by nature, are free thinkers, so they will argue with each other to a point where it's like I was talking about yesterday on Hannity's show, and I've covered here before, the light bulb theory, where you have a stick that a light bulb needs to be changed. You have a high ceiling. One person wants to get a ladder. The other person wants to get a stick with a suction cup on it, and they'll argue whatever. I mean, ultimately, they're both effective. We just need to look at which one's affordable and which one's the fastest. And maybe the ladder's not tall enough to reach. Maybe the pole doesn't have the right suction cup on the end. So there's, all these things have to be taken into consideration. And you bring in an expert in changing light bulbs to be able to tell you. So, man, the trolls are hot tonight, man. Let me tell you something. So it's interesting how easily the right or the conservative groups, the free thinkers, will argue with each other when there's really not. I mean, they should just sit down and figure out what is the best way to do something. They'll still argue. Whereas when you have the left, they just buy into it. They will just buy into it. And, but I'm sorry I keep getting this Twitter thing. I'm going to have to turn it off because it's freaking bugging me. I want to reach into this screen and punch every single person that comes on there. It's trolling. But so with the left, they are much more unified, but they're so easily swayed. Whereas on the right, what I was trying to get through all that point is the fact that they argue with each other constantly, but they're not easily swayed. So we have that going for us, the free thinkers, the conservatives. So lucky for us is that, and I'm talking about free thinkers, is that the left and the liberals have to realize this. When I call you out and say you're a liberal versus a leftist, I'm giving you the benefit of a doubt, but you have to realize being liberal, you're going to get sucked into this stuff because you're not looking. Most liberals that I know are not looking for what's most effective. They're looking for what's most effective that meets their standards of effectiveness. And that's a problem when you think like that, because people are going to tell you what you want to hear. And that's what's going on with this jihadist, Linda Sarsour, however you say her name. I know I'm butchering her name. And that's the problem, is that they're going straight to the top somehow, whether it be funding or whatever. They're going right up there. And then the people just obey what they say. They don't even question it. Maureen said it's Linda Sourpuss. So why don't we do this? Let's go to the A block. And we're going to listen to what this chump has to say, what she had to say recently. Now, I want you to listen to this, folks. Don't just think this is some person that's talking. This is a activist, a jihadist, portraying herself as an activist that is at the top. She's at all these big speaking events, all the protests that are big. She's there. She's one of the organizers of these things. And just like we've said before over and over and over again, is that the Red-Green Alliance is real. That's the alliance between Islam and the alliance between communism. That's why she's straight up at the top. That's the reason why. So I'm going to pull this up, and we're going to listen to what she has to say. And I want you to not listen to her as an activist. I want you to listen to her and think of her as a jihadist, because that's what she is. All right, let me see if you can see this. Not that it matters, the screen's so little, but deep. There it goes. Stand by.
Sisters and brothers, it's been 16, almost 17 years since the horrific attacks of 9/11. And we still, as a community, find ourselves unprepared in so many moments. Why, sisters and brothers? Why are we so unprepared? Why are we so afraid of this administration and the potential chaos?
Okay, I don't really know what she's talking about there, because she said it's been this much time since 9/11. We still find ourselves not prepared. What is she? I don't know. Is she talking about for the fight? Is she talking about the nonsense narrative that they have that they're being unrightfully attacked by people? So let's listen to some more.
They will ensue on our community, and we already saw their potential when they come out every few weeks. Muslim ban 1, Muslim ban 2, Muslim ban 3. They are relentless, they are persistent and consistent, and want to see how much we as a community can endure, and want to see who our friends are and how hard we're going to fight back again.
Okay, so that's what she's saying. She's saying that with that old narrative that they've been ginning up, that they're the ones who are being attacked, they're the ones who are suffering, they're the ones who are the victims here, and that 9/11 victimized them. It didn't victimize the people that died or anybody else. So that's what this individual is saying. She's saying that exactly, that there's a Muslim ban. There's no Muslim ban. There's still people coming in that are Muslims. It's a narrative that she uses. And you'll see that it's not just her, but people like her friend Tamika Mallory, who says she's a feminist and a black rights activist. They're going to milk themselves together, because they can contain all these different things: feminism, black activism. They can mix in there Islam victimization, all these different things they can milk together. And what it does is, I got to plug my iPad in. What it does is it allows for them to actually speak to all those people, and so those people react to that. So, but the real message is coming.
This administration, and I hope that when we stand up to those who oppress our communities, that Allah accepts from us that as a form of jihad, that we are struggling against tyrants and rulers, not only abroad in the Middle East or in the other side of the world, but here in these United States of America, where you have fascists and white supremacists and Islamophobes reigning in the White House. We have to stay outraged. Do not criticize me when I say that we as a Muslim community in these United States of America have to be perpetually outraged every single day. When I wake up in the morning and I remember who's sitting in the White House, I am outraged.
Now, I want to go back for just a second. I'm sorry I missed this, because I'm listening. I'm thinking about what she's saying while she's talking. This is something that bothers me, similar to the audience when they were watching an effigy of President Trump be murdered on stage here in Central Park. Let me play this again here.
And 3, they are relentless, they are persistent and consistent, and want to see how much we as a community can endure, and want to see who our friends are and how hard we're going to fight back against this administration. And I hope that when we stand up to those who oppress our communities, that Allah accepts from us that as a form of jihad.
Okay. That is bad, because what she's doing is she is calling Muslims to jihad. Okay, but she's doing that at the same time. She's also standing up for the quote-unquote women's rights. She's standing up for the black separatist rights. But this is her true calling right here. It's not that she's really concerned about women's rights, because if she was concerned with that, she sure as heck wouldn't be pushing Sharia law forward. Trust me on that. So, which is beyond me that these people don't get it, that call themselves feminists, but they're really communists, so that's why they don't get it. So this is her real thing, is a jihad, an Islamic push forward for global domination. She's just milking it in with all this other stuff, but this is what bothers me.
We are struggling against tyrants and rulers, not only abroad in the Middle East or in the other side of the world, but here in these United States of America, where you have fascists and white supremacists and Islamophobes reigning in the White House.
Okay, the applause bothers me. The applause bothers me because that signifies that people are seeing eye to eye with her, that they understand what she's saying, and that they are standing with her. And that is a problem, because that means that her cancer that she is infected with is spreading, and she is spreading it, which means that she is contagious. And when she goes out and is put on these stages in front of these podiums next to people like Madonna and Ashley Judd, who will eventually, whether they see it now or later on in the next life, they're going to realize how screwed up they were in associating themselves with people like this, although I don't give them much more credit than I do her. I don't think they have an agenda either. I think they're paid. And if they do have an agenda, it's because they're just like all the rest of these people in Hollywood who get some fame, and then all of a sudden they're surrounded by people that tell them they know all this stuff, and so they start to believe that they know all this stuff. So let's go on and hear what else she has to say.
Stay outraged. Do not criticize me when I say that we as a Muslim community in these United States of America have to be perpetually outraged every single. When I wake up in the morning and I remember who's sitting in the White House, I am outraged. This is not normal, sisters and brothers. Those people...
She should be outraged because the person that's sitting in the White House does not represent Sharia law, which she represents, and those who support Sharia law hate everybody else. So in her eyes, an infidel is in the White House, and I stand right there with them. Trust me on that one. You can call me the biggest infidel in the world either, because I believe in God. I don't believe in Allah. And so because what she is preaching is exactly what I keep trying to tell the Muslim people that I know and that I meet, is that this cancer is in your religion. This cancer is your religion. And if you don't start to realize this and you don't make the change yourself, the change will come, because this country is not going to stand, despite what Mark Zuckerberg says on Facebook, or these other globalists say. Americans are not going to stand for Sharia law, and we're not going to stand for religion. It's not even a religion. This is an ideology. It's not a religion, okay? That's like saying that communism is a religion. It is not a religion. It's ideology. It's a concept of life and the way it should be that certain people utilize in order to rule other people. That's basically what it is. So this person is the perpetuator and one of the propagandists of that movement. And I'm telling you, Islam needs to realize it. They need to have reform. If they want to continue to believe what they believe, I have no problem with that. But our freedom of religion does not mean that the rest of the country has to give up their freedom and rights and ability to practice what they want to practice, to be who they want to be. If they want to wear a bikini to the shore, they can do that. If you want to have a beer on the weekends or at night, you can do that. If you want to tell somebody you don't like them, you can do that. If you want to rattle and rail against the government, you can do that. That's our freedom of speech. But it does not cover somebody who is inciting jihad. So where in the world is the federal government at looking at this, and where are the free Muslims that live in this country that are watching this? If you agree with this woman, you should not be in this country. And this isn't a judgment statement. I'm not an anti-whatever or anything like that. I believe in equal rights and freedom of religion, But I do not believe that we should have to bend over backwards to make sure that people are allowed to practice a religion that hates us and wants to overthrow us. I don't believe that is in what the Founding Fathers intended in the First Amendment. And I don't need a judge that graduated from Harvard to tell me that. I have my own eyes. I can read the Constitution. It's a very short document, and I don't have to have them interpret it for me. It's very clear. This whole thing with judges is out of control. Let's listen to what she says.
Sitting in the most powerful seats in this country is not normal. So do not ever be those citizens that normalize this administration, because when the day comes that something horrific happens to us or to another community, you will be responsible for normalizing this administration.
And you all that I'm talking to will be responsible for not standing up to this nonsense if you don't do something.
Our number one and top priority is to protect and defend our communities. It is not to assimilate and to please any other people in authority. Our obligation is to our young people, is to our women, and make sure our women are protected in our community. And our top priority, even higher than all those priorities.
Okay, so hold on to this, all right? So she milked in there. That the feminist part of it about supporting women and about all these different things, right? And then all of a sudden, this is what she says. Her ultimate priority here is none of that. She erased all that other stuff.
Is to please Allah and only Allah.
Mm-hmm. There you go. That's the reality of where her heart is. And in America, that's not the way it works, folks. Our federal government needs to step up to the plate, and if they don't, state governments need to start stepping up to the plate. And if they don't, then the American people need to start stepping up to the plate. Period. All right, give me a second. Stay with me for 1 second. I want Maureen to give me a list of all the people that need to be blocked here on Twitter, because I'm feeling like there's a bunch while I'm talking that they're coming up, because I'm getting some notes here from people. I'll wait. Let's see. It's as simple as this, folks. If you want to troll, go somewhere else, because I'm just going to block you, and I'm not going to stop talking. Here's the other thing. So even I get a little messed up by this about people. The last person. So, okay, here you go. Boom. Block. I'm not going to be... Let me just see here. So listen, you can troll me all you want. I'm not going to be intimidated by anybody when it comes to my speech. I have the freedom to speak just like she has the freedom to speak. I can have it broadcast out on here just like she has it broadcast on YouTube. The difference is, I want to keep the country the way it is. I want to keep the Constitution the way it was written. There's no need for us to go any further and make any real changes. I mean, really, if I could change anything in the Constitution, it would be that people are... See, I don't want to make people be involved in their citizenry, but the fact is, an understanding of what your citizenry is used to be included in schools. Well, that's not included in our educational system anymore. It's been taken out because the communists infiltrated our education system and indoctrinated all these people by getting rid of things like civics classes, from saying in some places the Pledge of Allegiance to our flag, or singing the national anthem, or doing whatever they used to do, taking prayer out of school. They did these things because communists, and listen, you could be a liberal watching this show. You need to realize that if you look at subversion, and I'm talking about now, if you go look up the definition, if you look at people like Yuri Brezhnev that was talking about subversion 40 years ago, you're going to see that they were saying exactly what has been taken out of school. They go for the religion, they go for history, they go for the civics classes, and then they re-indoctrinate all these different things back into our way of thinking, so that they can program people, because your mind is like a computer. And it's going to be programmed one way or another. You just wake up and open your eyes, you're going to be programmed. So if you're not actively seeking the truth, people are going to substitute the truth and put that in your brain. And that's what's happened to the American people. So I'm not going to stand back and worry about trolls that are in the chat rooms. I'm not worried about any of that stuff. The reality is, folks, my speech, as long as it's going out, I'm doing the job that I have to do. But I'm amazed at how many people back down and don't talk. So I'm taking a little step forward now on what I think we should be doing as a unified group of free thinkers in this country. I've said that dialogue is the most important thing, and by and large, dialogue is definitely the most important thing. We need to continue to grow these numbers. Everybody needs to share. I've been seeing like shares of like 40 people, 40 shares on Facebook. You should share this program when it first starts so that people can tune in live and join in on the discussion. Twitter, I should be seeing, there's 86 people. I should be seeing 86 retweets of this show. And again, on YouTube, I don't know what we do. I'm still figuring that out. But and by and large, here's another thing I want to say about this whole thing with the dialogue. I'm monitoring what you guys are saying, but I'm not. Some people on YouTube were a little upset because I wasn't paying attention to YouTube. I'm paying attention to it, but I don't have time while I'm doing the show to go back and forth and actually talk to specific people. I'm looking over there because YouTube is over there. So we need to continue the dialogue. But what we need to start doing now is they're stepping it up. So we need to step it up, except we don't have to go to the point that they're going. We need to start looking, and everybody loves to talk about Saul Alinsky. So I recommend that we start using Saul Alinsky and communist-type tactics against them. Have your dialogue. Define what we believe in, which would be the Constitution. Don't worry about getting in the weeds about yelling and screaming because you want health care this way or that. All that stuff is there to distract you. Budgets and whether or not the government's going to be shut down. The government's never going to be shut down. When you see the impending economic crisis that's coming on, and unless we go into another depression in this country, which part of that was brought on by Mother Nature, another part of that was brought on by, in retrospect, looking at it and reading the history, it almost looks as though it was made to happen. Either way, the chances of us getting into another depression like that is slim to none. So when you see these things on the news, don't buy into it. Don't concern yourself as much about that as standing up to these people that are trying to subvert us. You have to have dialogue. We have to define what we believe in, which is the Constitution, which is freedom of religion. I'm a Christian, but I live in New York. I mean, I'd say half or more of the people I know are Jewish that I'm friends with. Support them. Support their religion. You don't see the Jewish religion going around shoving their faith off on everybody. By and large, you don't see Christians do that either. You see Christians helping people and setting the example by the way that they live. Islam is a completely different story. And I'm not going to bash Islam here, but we have to start looking at the truth of what's going on in this country. And if the Muslims aren't going to step up and say, we got a problem, when there's a problem, well, I'm going to do them a favor and I'm going to point out that problem. And the problem is that religion does not coexist with the rest of the world. And I'm going to say this to you. The rest of the world the rest of Islam, okay? Islam that does not go against that does not believe in jihad, the Islam that doesn't believe in Sharia law, that's not really Islam. It's not. That's like saying, a lot of these Christian groups that go around and knock on your door all the time, they say they're Christian, and when you kind of dig into what they believe in, they don't really believe in Jesus and the virgin birth and the sacrifice. So they're not Christian. They're just using it as a front. And Muslims have to realize, You can call yourself a Muslim. Maybe you believe in the Allah that they believe in, and you believe in the structure of the religion. Okay. But if you don't believe in the jihad, if you don't believe in the Sharia law, if you believe that women should be free and not have to wear veils, or wear a veil but be able to do whatever they want, you don't believe in Islam. And I know that one of the people on Twitter is saying it's called reform, but listen, they say there was a reformation in the Christian church. There wasn't a reformation. If you go back and look at the way Christ lived, that's the way we should all be living. What you saw happen in Christianity was because politics got involved in the Christianity. And what happened was Christianity had to do what this country should do. It had to have a revolution where it went back to the way it was without the politics. That's what has to happen in this country. And Islam can't do that, because if they revolve back around, and it's a good point, the same person that pointed it out, is that most reformed Muslims are atheists. If Islam revolves around and goes back to the way it was, it's going to be more violent than it is now. So, you see, that's a problem. And they need to realize this. They need to think about it. If you are a deeply religious Muslim, you need to sit down and think about the reality of this. I'm not telling you to believe another way. If you want to follow that religion, that's fine. But what I'm telling you is this country won't fold, and maybe your place is to be somewhere else besides America. I mean, that's the facts. It has less to do with whether people hate Muslims or they don't like Muslims or any of this. It has to do with this, folks, strictly with this. If you can't live, and we give you freedom of religion in this country, but if you cannot live under the rules and regulations of this country, which means that you have to give everybody else their freedom, you don't need to be here. Go find somewhere else, preferably back to an Islamic country where you can live like that. We are not this country was founded. It's never been conquered. And I hope everybody realizes this is watching this show. This country has never been conquered. Now, I know there's people will argue with me and say, no, the Indians were conquered. America has never been conquered. This Constitution has never been conquered. We are not going to be conquered unless the American people give over their freedom. And to me, that's not really being conquered. To me, that is just the American people laying down their arms and submitting. That's a big difference. This country's never been conquered, and we're not going to be conquered. So, Muslims, atheists, feminists, whatever ist that you belong to, if you don't like the way this country is, and you don't like the way it gives people freedom and gives people the ability to say what they want and practice what they want, dress like they want, drink like they want, curse like they want, worship like they want, take care of each other like they want. If you don't like that, if you don't like the fact that you have the freedom to achieve regardless of what somebody thinks about you, and that you have the ability to step out of your house and be somebody, if you don't like that, go find a place that suits your needs and live there. Because the reality is, folks, this country is about individual prosperity. It's about individual opportunity. But it's also about taking care of each other collectively and ensuring our rights. Yeah, and who is this? T something. But America is a free country. In it? I don't know in it what you mean. Isn't it? Is that what you're trying to say? Yeah, America is a free country. And what I'm telling you is America's going to stay a free country. It's not going to fold. America's not going to change. And if you're watching this show and you're Muslim, you have to realize I don't hate you. I have Muslim friends. But what I'm trying to tell you is if you don't see that people like this Linda Sarsour person is a jihadist and somebody who wants to instill Sharia law here in this country, if you don't see that Sharia law is something that's going to eliminate your freedoms, then you have a problem. And if you agree with her, you need to go to the place, the location. You need to go find another home that already exists. These places already exist. They exist over in the Middle East, and they are Islamic countries where they have, let's see here, where they have the Islamic laws, the Sharia law. They have all these laws that you want instilled here. Just go there. Go there, and I think we should start some kind of, I have a GoFundMe page. I'm not giving any of my money for my show. You see it right there. It just went across the screen. The GoFundMe page that I have is so that I can do this show and keep up the equipment and do the research, and I'm not giving any of my money. But I do think the government should help them if they want to leave. We should call them reverse refugees. We pay so much money for these people to come over here from Islamic countries when they have no reason to leave those Islamic countries. We should be over there helping them do, I don't know what we can do over there, but we should be putting pressure on Saudi Arabia and Turkey and all these people. We should be putting the pressure on them so that they will take care of their own. And if they don't, then that's on them. We're not going to I love the way liberals, yes, I'm going to pick on liberals for a minute. I love the way liberals always say that we can't police the world. But yet if we don't let refugees from Syria in, then we're bad. Okay, so which one is it? Are we going to police the world, or are we just going to be the world's paramedics? Because either way, you're first responders, and either way you're getting in the fight. The problem is you allow them in here, you're not screening them properly. The mindset of Sharia law is not going, you're not having people that say, I want to go to America because I want to be free from Sharia law. What you have is you're having people come over from the Middle East who lived into Sharia law, and they just want to, there's a war going on. It's not like they're changing their mindset, and they're coming over here, and then they're going to the mosques over here, and then what happens is they start to be more and more fundamentalized to the point where now what you're going to have is you're going to have more and more fundamental Sharia law-minded mosques and Muslims in the United States. What I say is we reverse it. Instead of giving all these people money to come over here, what we should do is we should pay for those who want to leave to go to Islamic countries, and we should allow them to migrate right over there into Sharia law, not to come back, and allow them to go under. We would actually save a ton of money, because when they come over here, we pay for their flights, we give them I don't know, tons of money. They get food stamps, they go on welfare, they get housing, they get jobs. Next thing you know, we spent thousands and thousands of dollars. It'd be better just to go ahead and say, listen, if you, not judging you, you can stay here and be free. You can stay here and practice whatever religion you want. I can guarantee you, this girl just said, if you stop bombing their countries, they'll stay in their country. I guarantee you that's not true. I guarantee it. And you know the reason why they're leaving their countries? Because particular Islamic governments want the spread of Islam because they're fundamentalists, and globalists around the world that went straight to leadership positions like Barack Obama, Angela Merkel, the prime minister up here in Trudeau up in Canada, who's I think is Castro's kid. And then you look around the rest of the country, and all these major countries, all their presidents and prime ministers are all globalists, and they want those Muslims coming in because it changes the voter dynamic of whatever country they flow into. So I can guarantee you these people are going to continue to come in here, and even if there was no bombing over there, they would give them more and more reasons to come over into the countries. That stuff is being done for a reason. It's not being done because the Americans want to bomb Syria. I don't know any American that says we should be at war in Syria. What they're saying is, why doesn't Saudi Arabia take care of Syria? Why doesn't Turkey and the rest of these people take care of Syria? I quite frankly am tired of taking care of the Middle East. But I'll tell you what else I'm tired of, and this is another reason why you have to look at the bombing, is that if we stop over there and we don't secure our borders and we don't secure our nation and Muslims don't start policing their own, then we are going to have an influx of jihadists regardless of whether we have refugees or not. So as I've said before, and you can look at on my YouTube page, the very first episode of this show, I did a 4-stage strategic war plan talking about how we could end this. And we need to either enact a strategic plan by naming the enemy and going through these steps, or we need to pull completely out of the Middle East, say we don't want any more of it, come back, secure our borders so much, and act our laws so strictly that if anybody even whispers or dreams in their mind jihad, then they automatically go to jail and the mosque gets shut down. That's the way it should be. So I'm going to block angry guy, I guess, here. I don't see him. Again, I'm going to make this announcement. If you're a troll, you're not going to do yourself any good. You're not making me angry. I'm just going to block you. There you go, mad angry guy. Liberals are never wrong. I don't know. Maybe I should leave this guy in here. It's kind of funny, actually. So anyway, that's the truth, folks. I mean, listen, I'm glad the numbers are up tonight because this is an important message that you all need to realize, because I'm going to show you another step here. Okay. So we looked at this jihadist who plays herself off as a feminist and an upstanding supporter of people's rights who are wronged. She's a liar. She wants Sharia law. Think about that for just a second before I go to the next point. She believes in Sharia law, which means your rights would, if she could have what she wanted, your rights would be done. You certainly wouldn't have Second Amendment, and no way would you have First Amendment. No way would you have the freedom of religion or freedom of education to be, I mean, nothing. Your freedoms would be gone. It would be completely controlled by Sharia law. Now think about that for a second. This woman spouts women's rights. She says sisters and brothers, and she always makes sure to point that out. She talks about all these different, people that are being oppressed. And then she turns around and says that one Islamic thing, because she can't not say it, is that Allah, despite whatever she's talking about, her relationship with Allah, and Allah comes first. See, that I'm a Christian. Nobody's going to change that. But I live in a country where I was born into this country. I'm a citizen of this country, so I have to respect the rights that we have for everyone. Because, listen, the God that I worship doesn't tell you how you have to worship. It doesn't tell you that you have to believe in him. There may be circumstances if you don't, but he's not going to make you. So I accept the fact that I live in a country where there's going to be other people practicing religions or not. I accept that. It's what makes this country free. So to hear somebody else say that no matter what they're all saying, this, hate this, or this is bad, or these people are against you, white supremacists, they keep bringing that whole thing up. To this, I mean, listen, I just saw a cop get murdered, or heard about this female cop got murdered, Familia, 2 days ago, right up here in the Bronx. She wasn't murdered by a white supremacist. 100 people shot in Chicago this past weekend. Hey, that's not making a ting. I was going to make a little knocking sound. Hello? That wasn't white supremacists that did that. That was people with dark skin killing people with dark skin. People in the inner city, uneducated, killing other people in the inner city that are uneducated. 100 people shot. I don't know where they're trying to ramp up this white supremacy thing, because they love to point out color. They love to put things on you, but heaven forbid anybody puts, like, they would say, oh, I'm an Islamophobe because I'm saying this stuff. I'm not an Islamophobe. I'm not scared of Islam. I'm not afraid of letting people worship how they want. But I will tell you this. I'll tell you what I am is, let me see if I can make up this word. I'm a I'm a subversive-phobe. No, wait, not a phobe. I'm a subversivist. I'm against subversion. And anybody that tries to go after this country and subvert it, I think they should be considered an enemy. I think communism should be outlawed in this country. I'm not saying Islam should be outlawed, but I am saying that jihad should certainly be outlawed. You want to practice your religion, you don't do it with jihad. Period. So I think Islam seriously needs to get involved and start policing their own. If you want to have a reformation where you look back and you say it's not going to be a revolution in your religion, you're going to have to seriously sit down and say, can we coexist with other nations? Can we coexist with other peoples? And if you come to the conclusion that you can't, and that's your choice, if you want to be honest to your religion, you should do that. And if you can't, then you don't need to be in this country. You should have the serious discussion. But if you say, you know what, we should change some things, we should live this way, we can still be faithful in our religion, but we're going to get rid of this, and this, then hey, then go for it. We'll back you on that. But we're not going to back people who say that they should be able to have their freedom of religion and then they sit on a street corner or in secret talking about subverting and destroying this country. We're not going to back that. So somebody just said on there's 1.8 billion of you. Yeah, I'm glad you brought that up. Now, I'm no mathematician. Somebody needs to do some math here for me. According to the Dr. Stanley Milgram study that I talked about before, that shows the percentage of people that will stand idly by or will back a part of their population that is actually fighting. And he did this study to try to understand why the German people didn't stand up against Nazism and Hitler. So 1.8 billion people, if they were forced to fight, a very small percentage, not small, actually it's not small at all, more than 20% of those people would fight if they had the pressure put upon them. They wouldn't like it, they would protest, but they would do it. It's around 50%. But here's the scary thing. Now, I'm no mathematician, okay, but 1.8 billion Muslims in this world. If they don't have to do the jihad themselves, if they don't have to kill, according to this experiment, about 86% of the Muslims in this world would support the jihad. They just wouldn't take part in it. So that's a problem. And that statistic pretty much goes for any group. You know, you can look at a good example of this is the inner city and the problem that you have with cops. People say that they're fighting against cops because the way they're treated by cops. Now, there's only going to be a small percentage of people that are going to do that, but about 86 to 90% of the people in the inner city will support them because they're told the cops are being bad to them. The cops are beating people. They're picking on people based on their color. And then you'll have like 10% of the population inside the inner city that are older and wiser and say, no, that's not true. You know, you act like a criminal, you're gonna get looked at as a criminal. You hang with criminals. Maybe you're not. Maybe you're a good person, but you hang with criminals. Look, it's the same thing. You get in a car with people that are drinking. Cop pulls you over, or there's weed inside your car. Cop pulls you over, and you don't do drugs. Well, guess what? You're being associated with the people that do drugs. You're going to get treated like those people. So it's the same thing when it comes to Islam or any of these other things, is that if you don't feel this way, you're going to get associated with the people that do. Okay? So I don't know what else I could say on that, but I'm going to go to the second part real quick. Let's go to the B block, and we've got some people stirred up tonight. I don't know if you can see this. I don't know if it'll focus. This knucklehead right here. Apparently, what he did was... So Senator Flake, I don't know where this is at, and I just saw this. I just briefly went through it. We're just going to mute that. So on Thursday, this comes from FoxNews.com. Officials arrested a man Thursday who allegedly made threatening comments toward Arizona Senator Jeff Flake. I got to change on this as a senator. But it was kind of directed also to Scalise. I always butcher his name. Scalise, who's a congressman, that he went in and said, this is what the guy said. He says, you know how liberals are going to solve the Republican problem? They're going to get better aim. That last guy tried, but he needed better aim. We will get better aim. Folks, this is real, okay? This is not a joke. This is the face. This is the face right here of reality, okay? It's not Madonna. It's not Ashley Judd. It's not Sarsauer. The reality is, folks, what they say affects people like that, and they will instigate these things and this hatred based on nonsense. There's a guy on LinkedIn, and I don't like getting into these discussions on LinkedIn, but I posted the thing that I did yesterday about Matthew Dowd, who said he talked to some SEAL nonsense and saying that SEALs hate Trump and all this stuff. It was all nonsense. I made a meme, and I actually put it on LinkedIn as well. And so some guy who's actually used to be a cop won't let up on saying, so you're going to say he's a liar and call him out for a lie, but you're not going to call the president out for lying. And I keep asking, what did President Trump lie about? What has he lied about? And he has nothing. Yesterday when I was hosting the Sean Hannity radio show, the guy was like, we had some caller, I think his name was Dan, and I think like 30% of America must be named Dan. There's so many Dans that I know. But anyway, so I kept asking the guy, what has the president lied about? And he just would not lie. Wiretap liar? What are you talking about? That's what Bobby wrote. I'm talking about Trump, not Obama. Of course, Obama lied about a ton of stuff. But Trump, I don't know what he's lied about. Let me just see what they're saying here. You pictured me looking different. I have a lot of looks. I go from beard to no beard. Well, I never cut my beard off. I grow a little bit of hair. And I'm going to grow this beard out, though. Speaking of that. Fake name, Danny A. Probably was a fake name. 3 million fake votes. Are you talking about Trump? 3 million fake votes? There was evidence that Trump tapped him. I don't know. How do you think that the FBI found out all this stuff? What do you think was leaked, Bobby? What do you think? Who do you think was unmasked? Those people were unmasked. That came from a wiretap. What stuff? The names of people, the investigate. Listen, well, no, you're exactly right. You actually, Bobby, thank you for that. What stuff? They were wiretapped. There was a Title III that they got on all these people because of nefarious things where they met with an ambassador from Russia, which so did Clinton, so did everybody else, right? So what they did is they got a Title III from FISA court. They go up on a Title III to listen to conversations, and then they unmasked those people. And what they found is that there was nothing. They found that there was, and I'm so glad you said it, Bobby, there was nothing. There was nothing there, and that's why President Trump isn't under investigation, because there was nothing there. But The names were unmasked, which is against the law. And really, to tell you the truth, the entire Title III was a scam that was ran by the Obama administration. So there. Trump didn't lie about that. It is wiretap, stupid. Look, if you want to come on and troll, then go for trolling. But if you want to know the answers, and I'm giving you the answers, I'm telling you right now, it's called a Title III. All right? That's when you go get a subpoena to go and put a listening device, or you just go to the, yeah, I'm calling you a name, and I'll tell you what else I'm going to do. I'm going to block you because you're just a turd. So that's the reality of this. And see, folks, that's another good example. You can't. Look, if you show up to this show, listen. If you disagree with me, tell me why you disagree with me. And if I am wrong, I'd admit it. But I'm usually not wrong because I don't talk about things that I don't know. I'm not going to tell you, I don't know. What do I not know? Maureen, I'm not going to tell Maureen what the best makeup is to put on somebody. If Barry's watching this, I'm not going to tell Barry the best lighting to take a picture. I'm not going to tell the truck drivers that watch this show how they should drive a truck, or, how anybody can fly a helicopter. I'm not going to say your name knows how to fly a helicopter. I'm not going to tell you I don't know how to fly a helicopter. But I can tell you the reality about Title IIIs, because I worked one for around a year of my own. Man, that was a freaking stretch. I can tell you the reality about unmasking people, about releasing classified information, about the failures in government because of ego, about their dedication to their political parties and not the American people. I can tell you about failures in government because of corruption and communism, because of Islam and the Muslim Brotherhood. I can tell you the reality of our failures in war because the DOD has been politicized. I can tell you about the failures of the American people because they're so damn comfortable in their freedom that they don't realize that they're being subverted and that people are playing them and making them divided, when the reality is there's no division here. The reasons to be divided are long gone. It's not so much that the Constitution didn't change. It's that the world changed. Slavery was a part of the world up until recently, and every race has been enslaved at one point or another. Women, every gender's been enslaved. Women, men, homosexuals, people with dark skin, people with light skin, Asians, enslaved Asians. The world changed. The world became more civilized. The world realized that, hey, maybe making people do something against their will is wrong. That's what happened. I think the FBI, somebody just asked if the FBI should keep an eye on Sauer for jihad speech. They should arrest her, and she should go back to wherever she came from, or she should stay in jail for inciting terrorism. Because as far as I'm concerned, she is an enemy of the state, and so she's then therefore should be looked at as a combatant. Because we are at war, folks. I don't know if you realize that. We didn't declare war on Islam. Islam declared war on us. And here's the other thing. Chris Cronin's bringing up. Child and human trafficking still happening as we speak. Why isn't that a bigger deal in the federal government and government period, in state governments, when somebody brings up that people are being enslaved? Why is that not? Why is that not people should be freaking out over this, that children are being enslaved and trafficked? Why is that something that, when there's an accusation made about that and it has some weight, that people are just like, let's not talk about that? I find that extremely odd. All right. I think I'm going to call it a show. Been on here an hour. I could talk all day. But I will tell you this. I'm contemplating this for tomorrow's show, okay? So tune in. I'm not going to say who it was, but so when I host Hannity's show, I get hundreds of emails. My Twitter went up 1,000. My Facebook went up 1,000 people. I got tons of all these different. Let me see who this is. Hold on one second, folks. Tristan, I don't know who you are. You have to tell me who you are if you're involved in that stuff, and I can help you out. But so a lot of the emails, not a lot, actually, not very many. It's really a couple of people that send me multiple emails, and they get blocked or whatever. But they're liberals, and they don't like what I'm saying. And if they realize I'm not screaming at the liberals, I'm screaming at people who hate this country more than anything. And this one guy wrote me and said, I don't know, he said some very nasty things, but basically called me stupid and some other things. Let me see if I can bring it up here real quick. I want to be careful about reading this because this idiot, and it cracks me up. This knucklehead decided to text me his phone number or email me his phone number. Let me see if I can find it here, because I don't think I erased it. Let's see here. Hold on. I thought I saved it here, so hopefully I did. Oh, I know. Come on, brain. My brain ain't working. I took a screenshot. Okay, so here's what the guy says. The Democratic Party is not ran in all capital words. Just ran is in capital words for some strange reason. Oh, I know what it is because he's pointing this out to me. Okay. The Democratic Party is not ran by communists. It's run by communists. Let's remember our 5th grade English subject verb agreement. So this guy felt the need. They was that upset because my southern accent, I said ran instead of run. And he's a general manager at a place. Anyway, I was thinking about calling him because this knucklehead sent me his entire contact information and where he works and his phone number, his cell number. And I'm not going to give it out on here, but I figured we could maybe call him. That would be kind of funny. And he can explain to us English and proper English. Look, he's from Louisiana. There's no way his English is any much better than mine. So, anyway, you got to laugh, folks. You got to laugh. All right, let's go to the Truth Zone. Anybody else got anything? There's Barry. What up, Barry? What a Delta Alpha. I'm gonna think about what that means. I know what Delta Hotel means, but not Delta Alpha. Make the call. All right, we'll do that tomorrow. That'll be our Thursday night highlight. All right, make sure you share the show. Here's the other thing, real quick. I know there's people watching this, and you don't want to hear me preach on this stuff. I'm not going to go over it. Make sure you share the show. If you liked what was being said today, tune in. Again, I run the whole show. I got all this stuff in front of me that allows me to do all this. And sometimes I have technical difficulties and things, but I depend on you all for a couple things. One, sharing the show with people. You got to share it and tell people about it. The other thing is you have to take part in it. Tonight has been fantastic because I've been watching what everybody's saying, and I really am enjoying the fact that everybody is taking part in this. I'm going to look at that way that somebody's telling me about how to. There's a program you can get to put all these different chats on, so I can just look at one thing and not look all over. That's going to make a big difference. what I need for the American people to do and the people that watch this show is, you see the GoFundMe page down here, the line that's going across down here, gofund.me/The Experts Roadshow. I need you to go and donate. There's like almost 300 people watching this show tonight. I need you all to go and donate $10, $20. Everybody that's joined now, and all of you that belong to the Friends of Jonathan T. Gilliam on Facebook, there's 2,400 people on there, 2,200 people, something like that now. We need to get everybody on there to donate $20 minimum. And what's gonna allow me to do is I was saying in July. I think it's going to have to be closer to August because I've got the speech that I'm going to be doing this weekend, and then I'm going to be in July 30th. I'm going to be in Washington D.C. And speaking there, and you guys can all come there if you want. I'm going to have Wendy on sometime either this week or next week where we can talk about that, and so it probably be closer to August when I go back on the road. And so I need your donations to help grow this show. The bigger the fun pocket gets, the more I can do with this show. Right now, I'm kind of stuck in this right here. I can't go too far away. I can't do too much more with the studio or getting different people on and figuring out technology to do that stuff. I need you all to support me on this. And we can do some remarkable stuff with this show before the platform goes away, because I am worried that the platform will go away. So here's what I want everybody to do. See, it's funny, I'm talking about that. My Facebook platform disappeared. So we need to continue the dialogue. We need to, and what I'm going to start doing in these shows is start defining more and more what we are about, so that we don't have to worry when it comes to standing up to people. That's what I hope you're getting out of this when we're talking about Linda Jihadists. That's what I'm going to call her from now on. And these other people that are threatening congressmen and senators. We have to start understanding the reality of what's going on, the steps that they're taking. So when somebody who's liberal says, I think you're crazy, say, really? Well, let's look at the definition of subversion, the definition of terrorism. Now let's look at the steps of both, and let's see what the Democratic Party is doing. And hopefully liberals will say, you know what? You're right. And this isn't a Republican-Democrat thing. This is not a conservative-liberal thing. This is, do we believe in America or not? Some of the stuff that we argue about, to me, is just absolutely stupid. I mean, healthcare why is it so complicated? I'll tell you why. Because politicians are in bed with the insurance companies and the hospitals. That's why it's so complicated. It should be easy to figure that stuff out. It has nothing to do with being a socialist country or a socialist program. We should be making insurance cheaper for people who can pay for it. And if you can't pay for it and you're poor, well, a couple of things should happen. One, we should find work for you. I would much rather see a government program that help people find work than I would help people have free insurance. So if you made insurance cheaper so companies could buy insurance for their employees, even part-time employees, and then the government actually set up programs to help place people in jobs, well, there's a solution right there. That's one of the ways we could do this. But regardless, we're not coming up with these. We're not coming to solutions. We don't come up with any solutions. So this show helps everybody understand things, even if it's just me rattling on the fact that you all are coming together, having dialogue. I have other people on here. I need to start having those guests back on. These are things that are going to help this country tremendously and help the free thinkers come together. But I do need support. I need financial support while I do this, and that's gofund.me/The Experts Roadshow. You'll see it. It's going to come right here. It's coming right there. gofund.me/The Experts Roadshow. Now, why did I say roadshow? Because initially this was set up so that I can go on the road, and that's what I want to start doing. But if I get a bigger pot of money, I can then set the schedule out and say, okay, I'm going to go out on the road for 3 weeks here, 2 weeks there, a month there, and then I can go forward and do that. But upkeep on the truck, the equipment, the travel costs, all these different things associated with that, I need your donations. And I'll just say this. I know there's sick people, there's people that are victimized, and they need your donations as well. But here's my stance on that. You make this show big, and this show gets millions of followers and gets picked up somewhere, we are going to have more income to put out to those people than if we just sit here and give $5 there or $10 there. If we pull our money on a show like this, and listen, I'm going to tell you, I had a discussion with a friend of mine today. You can create other political parties. You can put your money behind politicians. You can give and donate to people who are sick or injured or have a cause. I think we see now the power of media. The power of media has the ability to change elections. It has the ability to affect the psyche of entire communities and societies. The media is Satan's stronghold. The media is the communist stronghold. Media is Islam's stronghold. If we don't get and I'm not talking about Fox News here, folks. If we, the people, do not get our stuff together and dive into this media arena like where all the other gladiators are, and we don't show up as the top gladiator, we aren't going to have this. You think this is going to go on? You think that Facebook's not going to eventually going to realize that, and Twitter and YouTube are eventually going to realize and say, we got to figure out a way to cut this off because they're, free thinkers are getting their message out. These are owned by globalists that don't believe in borders. So when we come on here and we talk about the importance of borders, they're eventually going to kill that show. So we need to pull our money, our resources, and we need to get one place to where we can make one thing bigger. And nobody's done this. Do you know of any other person that said, we need to do this together, and actually put themselves out like this? It's not happening. I'm saying we don't need billionaire backers. We don't need political parties to give us a narrative. We have the truth, and we are the people. And we should be coming together, and we should be putting our money together, and this is it. This is the war. This is the battleground. It is in the airwaves. Let's go to the truth zone. These big hands hit wrong buttons all the time. So here's the facts, folks. As I was just saying there, I know people think it's a little cheesy when I do the music and close, but listen, you got to have passion. I talked yesterday about being stagnant. This country is stagnant because we don't have passion anymore. People are embarrassed to talk about what they believe in, or they feel like they don't want to hurt somebody else's feelings. That is the biggest crock of baloney ever, folks. That's just an excuse not to take part in the revolution. We can call it a revolution. I don't care. Those Hillary Clinton types and all the rest of them that say that there's a movement, that there's a revolution, that they are a part of the solution. We don't need a solution in this country. We don't need a revolution. What we need are the subversive groups that are trying to take over this country. We need them gone. That's what we need. I don't care if you are of a certain religion, ideology, social structure. If it doesn't fit our Constitution, it's not going to be here. And unless the American people stand up. So we have to stand together. We have to come together. We have to pull our resources. We have to stop being afraid. Don't be intimidated. There's no reason for us to be intimidated. By what? Look, if you lose your life in the fight for freedom, you will stand with some of the greatest human beings to ever walk the face of the earth. Don't worry about that. Don't worry about being intimidated by these people that tell you that you're a racist because you love the Constitution and because you love freedom. Don't be intimidated by people that yell at you and demean you. Don't worry about it. Be who you are. Be strong. You don't have to be nasty. Just don't be intimidated. I learned. It was hard. I learned not to let these trolls get to me. I learned not to worry about if somebody calls me a white supremacist because I have light skin. I'm as far from a racist as you can ever be. I love people based on who they are. And I stay away from people based on who they are, not their skin color. If you're a good person, I want you in my corner. If you're a jerk and an incompetent political worm or some kind of criminal ideologist, if you're somebody who despises me because I'm free and masks it by saying that I'm a white supremacist because you can't really say the reality that you hate the Constitution, I don't need you in my corner. In fact, I'll fight against you. And that's what we need to do. You see this name right here, folks? That was given to me by my mom. She's a great American. But the fact is, anybody's name could be right there. Because watch what scrolls up right after this. The truth has arrived. That's right, folks. The truth. You should be about the truth. And let it flow through you. And you won't have anything to worry about. I'm telling you. I'm Jonathan Gillum. Rico's asleep over there. We'll see you tomorrow on The Experts. Thursday night, folks. The truth has arrived. And I'll be bringing it tomorrow. As I always do, join me.
Don't be intimidated by the liberals.
Yeah, what he said, don't be intimidated. You know, I had to use this just for a second. I can't not let it just go to waste. Old Kerry Murphy over there, that's the guy I was talking about yesterday.
Where is Dave Robinson tonight? Racer X, I like that name. Makes me want to take a nap.
Go forth and don't be afraid. I'll see you tomorrow.